Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. It is the most fun time of the month for me where I get to pick my next month's TBR. It's always so fun, and especially more fun this year that I'm playing sort of a game called FlipNRoll, where I flip a coin first to find out if I'm going to be choosing prompts or a spinner wheel. And this time I'm switching it up a bit. After I did this for the first time in January, I had someone suggest that I flip a coin for each roll. So I roll first, find out what the category of book is going to be, and then I flip the coin to find out if I'm going to use a spinner wheel or a prompt. That way I can like shake it up multiple times throughout the TBR, and I'm kind of excited about that. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to roll first. Usually I flip the coin first. Today we're going to roll first, and then I'm going to flip a coin to see if I'm using a spinner wheel or prompts. So we might have both during this video. Before we dive into my books for the month of May, I am going to tell you about how I did with the 5 books from FlipNRoll for the month of April. So the first one was a 6, a 5-star prediction. I had The Amulet. I did not read that. And I still have a few days before the end of the month. It's not going to get read this month, most likely. I might surprise myself, but as of right now, I don't think that's going to get read. The second roll was for Book of the Month, and the spinner wheels picked for me this time, and it picked The Maid, and I did read that. Then we had a recommendations cart, and the random number generator picked Death on the Nile, and I did read that. Then I had another Book of the Month, and the spinner wheel picked Hello Stranger, and I did read that. And the final roll was for a series to continue, and it landed on Shady Hollow. So the next one is Cold Clay. I have not read this yet, but I do plan on reading it before the end of the month. It's a relatively short read. I can grab the audio and hopefully get that. So hopefully this month I will have read 4 of the 5. And like I've said before, I'm keeping the ones that I don't read up on the shelf. So this will get read at some point. So I did pretty good. All right, now on to May. I do have 3 books already planned for the month, and I'll tell you about them real quick. And then I also have to pick a 12 books in 2024. And I might pick that first because if I can get any of those onto the list, I will do that. So let me tell you about the ones that I'm definitely going to be reading, regardless if they're in the game or not. So the first of those is The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. In May, it is my next Christian nonfiction read along with all of you if you're so interested. We're going a little different this time. This is not like a self-help or a Christian living type of a book. This is an autobiography. Corrie ten Boom is part of a Dutch family. Her father was a watchmaker, and they became a family who hid Jewish refugees from the Nazis, and they were caught. Her family was sent to concentration camps, and Corrie ten Boom survived. This tells the account of her family and how they helped a lot of people, and then eventually how they were caught and what happened to them in the camps. There are a few photographs in the middle of it, but I also have the engaging visual journey edition, which is what I will probably read. I just wanted to show this one because it's easier to hold up. But I hope that you will join us for The Hiding Place. I will have a community post that will share the dates that we will be talking about this so that you can mark your calendars for the month of May. I just haven't done that yet, so at the time of filming. So I hope that you'll join us to read The Hiding Place, an autobiography by Corrie ten Boom, World War II. So it's going to be interesting. Next on my definite reads is my Patreon book club book for the month of May, and that is going to be The Love Story of Missy Carmichael by Beth Morey. And this one will follow an elderly woman. She's 79. She is estranged from her daughter, and her son and only grandson live across the world in Australia, and her great love is gone. She kind of spends her days on her own. The last thing Missy expects is for 2 perfect strangers and 1 spirited dog to break through her prickly exterior and show Missy just how much love she still has to give. The back of this says, for fans of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine and A Man Called Uva, both of which I really loved. I know it's starting to feel like the elderly curmudgeon being rescued by neighbors or kind of having a new lease on life is starting to feel a little bit overdone, but I still really love it. So I'm excited that this is the one that won the poll in my Patreon for the month of May. So this is what I will be reading with my patrons. I would love for you to join me if you're interested. The link is always in the description down below. So that's our book club book. And then every month I also have a Patreon pick where a bunch of my patrons get to suggest or recommend a book for me. I put them all in a cup and pick one out. And this month I picked A Council of Dolls. Here's the cover, which is stunning. This is by Mona Susan Power. This is an Own Voices story. Mona Susan Power is of the Dakota people, and she tells the story of 3 women over the course of generations who are Dakota, and it's told in part through the stories of the dolls they carried. The description at the bottom of Goodreads says, "It's gorgeous, quietly devastating, and ultimately hopeful, shining a light on the echoing damage wrought by Indian boarding schools and the historical massacres of Indigenous people. With stunning prose, Mona Susan Power weaves a spell of love and healing that comes alive on the page." This sounds like it's going to break my heart and infuriate me, but also it has that historical element, and I just think it's going to be an important and hopefully a read that I'm just really going to love. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm excited for A Council of Dolls. And then let's just choose real quick my book that I have to read for my 12 and 24. I have the little papers in there, and we'll see which one is going to get added to my pile. I can just pick one. They're all connected. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's pretty paper. It is Spy Mistress. Good, so we have another historical. Let me grab it. Okay, Spy Mistress is by Jennifer Ciavarini. I'm really excited about this because it takes place here in Richmond during Civil War era. Elizabeth Van Lew, her native state seceded in April 1861, and her convictions compelled her to defy the new Confederate regime. So she becomes a spy for the Union Army and helps to construct the Richmond Underground, orchestrated escapes from the infamous Confederate Libby prison under the guise of humanitarian aid. And she kind of created her own spy ring. So that sounds really, really good. I really would like to read Jennifer Ciavarini. I don't know if I've read any by her, but I have a couple on my shelves. So this is good for many different reasons, but this is going on the pile in May. Now we'll see if we can get any of those 4 on the list. I don't know, because I have other ideas of what I want to read too, but we're gonna play the game. So I'm gonna roll first. I have my prompts ready. I have my spinner wheels ready. So we're gonna roll first. We're gonna roll 5 times, and I'm gonna flip the coin after I roll. And I won't use the Alexa this time because I know that makes many of your Alexas go off as well. I have a quarter here, so I will flip an actual coin. So we're gonna roll for the first book. And it is a 6, which is a 5-star prediction or free choice. Let's see if I'm going to spin a wheel, which I don't really have one, or use a prompt. So basically, if I don't have a wheel, I just get to pick. Well, let's just flip. Let's just flip a coin. Oh, it's tails. Can you see that? Tails means spinner. Ha! And I don't have a spinner wheel for 5-star prediction or free choice, because free choice is just kind of like whatever you want. I have decided I'm DNFing my 5-star prediction video that I started, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months ago. I'm just not eager to read the 2 books that I have left. I chose those 5 books based on their Goodreads rating, not because I necessarily wanted to pick them up right away. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. You all probably don't even remember what the 5 books are, except that The Amulet has been on my TBR for I think almost every month this year so far, and I still haven't read it. I just don't have the urge to read it. So I'm going with free choice, but I'm picking a book that I do think is going to be a 5-star. Since I don't have a spinner, it's just free choice. I'm going to pick The Women by Kristen Hanna. I'm putting this on my May TBR. I do think it's going to be 5 stars based on the fact that I love Kristen Hanna. This is another historical fiction of hers, which I think are my favorite. I don't think I've heard anything negative about this. Every single person that I've heard that's read this has really, really loved it. So I don't feel like it's overhyped. I'm hoping it's not, but I do think it's going to be a 5-star read. And so this is the first official book for my FlipNRoll going on to my TBR in May. So let's roll for book number 2. Dun, 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 dun. We've got a 3. 3 is book exchange cart. Now we're going to flip a coin to see if I'm going to use a prompt or a spinner wheel to choose a book from my book exchange cart. And we have tails again, which is a spinner wheel. I don't actually have a spinner wheel for my book exchange cart, but I do have a spreadsheet and we can do a random number generator. So here is my list of book exchange books. There is a total of, so we have 117. Alexa, choose a number between 1 and 117.
Here's a number between 1 and 117. It's 2.
Okay, so 2 is already been read. So we're gonna, and it's actually 80 Days to Elsewhere. Number 1 is like the highlight reel here, but Alexa, choose a number between 4 and 117.
Here's a number between 4 and 117. It's 96.
96. Let's see what that one is. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, it's not red. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm really excited because Shiner is one of the books that I gave my patrons to choose from this month. They picked The Love Story of Missy Carmichael, but this was one of the options. So it's definitely something I'm interested in reading, and it was kind of calling to me right now. So Shiner by Amy Jo Burns is a contemporary, takes place in West Virginia in the mountains. Trapped in time, 3 women must defy the traditions that have held them captive. So an hour from the closest West Virginia mining town, teenage Wren Bird lives in a cloistered mountain cabin with her parents. They have no car, no mail, and no visitors except for her mother's lifelong best friend. Every Sunday, Wren's father delivers winding sermons in an abandoned gas station where he takes up serpents and praises the Lord for his blighted white eye, proof of his divinity and key to the hold he has over the community, over Wren and her mother. Then one summer, a miracle performed by Wren's father quickly turns to tragedy. As the order of her world begins to shatter, she must learn the truth of her family's harrowing history in order to imagine a different future for herself. Yikes. A bold daughter, a reclusive housewife, and a lovesick moonshiner reveal a taut and smoldering story of modern female myth-making in a land of men and one young woman who must open her eyes. My word. It sounds so good. It's a little tiny book. I'm really excited to add this to my pile. So good job. Good job, random number generator, picking a book that I want to read. And Lindsay gifted that to me. So let's go ahead and roll for book 3. Keep this moving, Krista. We've got a 1, which is Net Galley. Perfect. So let's flip a coin and see if I'm going to use a spinner or a prompt for a Net Galley book. I'm glad that it's giving me a Net Galley. That didn't really flip. How do I flip it more? Woo, that was a good flip. We got tails again. Spinner again. Is this coin weighted? Okay, I'm all right with it, honestly. So let's go ahead and pull up my spinner for Net Galley. This is all of the books that I currently have on Net Galley. I might have been approved for 1 or 2 newer ones that are coming out later this year. Every once in a while, I check for anticipated reads and kind of keep that list going until I film my next anticipated reads video. But there are already 80 books on here. I think that's plenty to choose from. So here is the wheel, and it's going already. Oops. And we're going to be reading The Circus Train. I'm going to remove that. I've already read it. I thought I fixed this one, but I didn't. I've already read The Circus Train, so we're going to spin again. I need to update this a little better. Okay, Last Word to the Wise is a sequel. I could probably read both because Dead and Gondola is the first one by Anne Claire, and they're really short. And honestly, at the end of the month of May, there's a Murder and Mayhem readathon that is a points-based, team-based readathon, and I've never done one of those, and it's only for 1 week, and I think that might be fun. So I'm going to participate in that, and a little cozy mystery might be just the thing. So I'm going to keep Last Word to the Wise on the pile, but I'm going to try to read Dead and Gondola and Last Word to the Wise in May. I'm pretty sure I can get them on audio. I don't actually own Last Word to the Wise, but I do have it on my Kindle. So I'm going to go ahead and put Dead and Gondola on the pile in hopes of reading both of those in May. So why not? Why not? Let's roll for book number 4. Is another 1, another Net Galley. All right, that's good. I got heads that time. Can you see? There's a head. So we're going to do prompts. Good for Net Galley. Okay. fun. Let me pull up my list. I have so many Net Galley books to read. So let's go ahead and dig in here. These prompts were all given to me by my patrons. So let's see what this one says. Oh man, a classic. I do not have any classics on my Net Galley, so I'm gonna pick again. Net Galley is all like new releases of the last few years since I've been on there. Let's try this one. Okay, least favorite genre. I don't think I have anything that's like horror. I might have a thriller, and I just really often don't read thrillers because they often have things that I don't like in them. I mean, I'm the one requesting all of these books, so they're almost all mystery. I guess I could do Murder Road by Simone St. James because it's a thriller and paranormal, and normally that is not at all my go-to genre at all, but I like Simone St. James, so that could fit. Let me see if anything else stands out. I mean, literary, there's a couple that are literary fiction, but I do read that often. A lot of historical fiction. I think I might have to do Murder Road. I think that is going to be the best fit. I see so many on here that I've actually read and need to write about. Quite a few. My percentage would go right up if I would just write my reviews. Good grief. Yeah, I think I'm going to do Murder Road, which I'm kind of excited about. It's super new release. I don't think I'll have anything else that would fit. Okay, so we're going with Murder Road for least favorite genre. I'm actually going to write it right on here because I don't own it. It was one of my choices for book of the month, but I had to pick carefully. I'm going to go ahead and try to put the Libby audiobook on hold as soon as I can so I can try to get that. But Murder Road is book number 4. I'm excited for that one, even though it's so different from what I normally read. And I'm going to put classic back into the jar. Roll number 5, last roll. Here we go. A 2, which is book of the month. Sweet. Okay, let's see if I'm picking with a prompt or if a spinner is going to pick for me. In one of my recent lives, the one for my booktube birthday, I used how many unread book of the month do I have on my shelves as a question for a giveaway. Let's see. And I have 45 unread book of the month on my shelves. Yikes. All right. Am I picking or is a spinner picking? Tails. A spinner is picking for me. Oh, at least I had one with prompts. That quarter is weighted. That's okay. I love the spinners. So let me go to book of the month spinner. All right. So here we go. Here are my book of the month books. It says there's 46, but I've probably read one that I didn't take off. The Maid. Did I take off The Maid? Yeah, I've read The Maid, so I can remove that. So there's 45. That should be correct. That's what I figured out over the weekend. All right, let's see what I'm going to be reading in May. I'm not sad about that at all. I can't believe this. Okay. If you watched my try chapter tag from books that were recommended to me by a librarian, Hang the Moon was on there. And I really enjoyed the beginning of this book. So I'm thrilled to have this on my May TBR officially and have to read it. That's exciting. I'm really excited about that. So this is going to be the story of a young girl whose father, I don't know what, her mother passed away or left or something. Her father got remarried and she basically has a wicked stepmother. She has a very close relationship with her dad, but because of a situation with her little brother, there's an accident and she accidentally knocks him out riding in a wagon or whatever. The stepmom gets that's the final straw, and she makes the dad send her away to another relative to live for 9 years. And she stays away until the stepmom has passed away, which is crazy. And then right at the end of chapter 1, she comes back to live with her dad. So I know this takes place during Prohibition, early 20th century, small town, kind of Appalachia feel. No, Virginia. This is Prohibition era Virginia. Women have won the right to vote, but their lives haven't changed. Slavery is over, but lynching is not. Right and wrong don't always square up with legal and illegal. Sally navigates the factions in the town and within her own family to forge her own path. Her journey is a wild ride. I really enjoyed Jeanette Wall's storytelling in the first chapter, and I loved her book, The Glass Castle, which was her memoir. And this one is fiction, obviously. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. So here is my pile of 5. The Women is my free choice. This Shiner by Amy Jo Burns is my Christmas book exchange. Dead and Gondola and its sequel are book 3. Book 4 is Murder Road from my Net Galley. And then the 5th one, book of the month, Hang the Moon. So I'm really excited about this stack. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of my must reads, but that just adds 3 more to the pile, which isn't too bad. This pile doesn't look too bad. But I also remember that in May, Middle Grade March Book Club is doing our first quarterly book, and it's Everything Else in the Universe, which I have read already. I will reread that at the very beginning of the month for our discussion in the middle of the month. So stay tuned for information about The Hiding Place. Take a look at this stack. How does it look to you? Have you read any of these? Am I going to love any of these? What do you think? I would love to chat with you about these books or about anything else that you want to talk about. So let's chat down in the comments below. I always love talking with you down there. What are you the most excited to read in the month of May? Are you going to be joining in Murders and Mayhem? Check out Hannah from the Teachers TBR. She will link all the other people involved, but that's where I first heard about it. And I'm excited to participate in one of those kind of readathons. I've never done that before. Hopefully you have some fantastic reading ahead of you in May. I'm hopeful as well. All right, that's going to be it for me today. I'll talk to you in another video very soon. Bye.